The following presentation shows the draft 2022 budget subject to change before second reading on February 17th, 2022. The RDOS Board of Directors encourages you to provide feedback before then. Here's RDOS Manager of Finance, Jim Zaffino.
The following presentation is a high-level overview of the budget, and it's 500 pages, and here it is. To view detailed budgets, please visit the RDOS Regional Connections Interactive website. To review any of the slides presented in this video, please hit pause. The following slides provide information about the RDOS Legislative Foundation. Each regional district is a corporation. The RDOS has 9 electoral areas represented by rural directors elected to their position. The 6 municipalities represented on the board appoint their members. Regional districts are not taxing authorities. Regional districts do not tax municipalities. Regional district taxes are based on the services, not the location. Some regional district services are legislated, including general government, solid waste management plans, and E911 telecommunications. Most regional district services are by choice. Property in a rural area will receive their tax notices from the Surveyor of Taxes, and the taxes are paid to the province. The following slides cover taxes. To review any of these slides, please hit pause. The following slides provide information about the RDOS budget structure. A regional district is different than a municipality. Regional districts create a separate budget for every service it operates. For the 2022 budget, the RDOS has 156 separate services and therefore 156 separate budgets. Separate budgets ensure only those who participate in the service pay for the service. The budget process launched in October 2021. The budget includes approved change requests. Budget workshops were held November 5th and 9th, 2021. The provincial legislation requires the budget to be adopted by March 31st, 2022. The following slides provide information about RDOS services. You can hit pause at any time to review the slides. You can also visit RDOS Regional Connections to view detailed budgets. Regional services are services where the majority of the electoral areas and municipalities participate. For regional services, all properties in the municipality and electoral areas contribute. Regional services include heritage, conservation, corporate facilities, legislative services, and regional trails. Rural services are services where the majority of the electoral areas participate. For rural services, all properties in the electoral area contribute. Rural services include animal control, electoral area administration, and planning. Shared services are services where only those participating in the services pay for the shared services. Local services are services where only a defined group of properties within an electoral area participate. Examples include fire protection and water systems. Staff begin building budgets for each service in October. The 2022 budget is prepared along with the additional 4 years. New requests or changes come forward as program change requests. If approved, the item is added into the draft budget. The official title of the draft budget is 2022-2026 5-Year Financial Plan. The board can make changes to the budget up until it is adopted. Feedback from public consultation is presented to the board along with the budget bylaw for second and third reading and adoption. By legislation, the budget must be adopted by March 31st, 2022. This presentation is for Electoral Area H, and it discusses the budget as of the first reading, and it's for the 2022 to 2026 budget. The first slide talks about the assessment for Area H, and 4.03% of the total assessment belongs to this area, and that means that 4.03% of any tax requisitions that Area H participates in pays. Area H for this year had an assessment increase of 27.41%, where the average for the regional district is 28.89%. So for this area here, Area H will have a lower overall tax burden for the services which H participates in. Overhead administration. So this is where the support costs for various departments to run the 156 services that we provide are redistributed. For the administrative overhead for us, it's human resources, legislative services, finance, corporate services, and information services. What an overhead cost is classified as would be an example for information services would be the support costs to run the department. For instance, you need licensing costs for the hardware and software. You need to pay for the hardware. You need to pay for the software. And with the new way that the payments are made for the software, it's on a yearly basis. And it's funded through using a tier constant formula. This slide simply shows what the breakdowns are for the overhead, what the costs are. As you can see, the biggest single increase is information services, and there's a large increase in keeping up to keep the doors open for the overhead administration, as I stated earlier, and the software costs. Each year, the board is asked to review anything that is not in the previous budget but will be asked to be included in the current budget. The first one that we'll be discussing will be the grant and aids. Different organizations come to the board to ask for support to run their organization. The slide here shows what the asks were and what was actually approved. Now this could change after adoption is made. Just before adoption is made, this slide here is a continuing request. These are business plans that were made by the different managers within the regional district, asking for either an increase in staff or an increase in service levels. The specific slide has a combination of FTE requests, and it also has the service level requests. It shows which service will be ultimately have to pay for the increase in asks, and in which year the costs will occur. And again, the board reviews the business plan and authorizes them. In this case here, you can see that for Parks and Recreation, there was an ask, the senior bylaw ask. This is for engineering, and this is for legislative services. I thought you may be interested in looking at the Area H capital projects that are either been helped fund by Area 8 past budget or grants or their donations. In this case here, there is no costs that in the capital budget that are in the tax requisition. They've been in previous tax requisitions and increased the reserves to help fund these projects. The first one here shown is emergency call system. There is building inspection software, regional trails, and you can see the trails that are being budgeted and will be hopefully completed in 2022. This is the solid waste management plan. This is something that's carried forward from last year. The next section here shows the Tulameen Coalmont Fire Protection, the capital asks that the fire department has requested. And just to state, this has been approved as at first reading only. This is the Tulameen Recreation Commission and the capital asks as shown detailed. This is a comparison of the 2021 to 22 budget. It shows that there's it's fairly consistent. Two anomalies on here is 47 projects worth $7.2 million have been carried forward from last year to this year, and there's an $8 million project for composting, which is it's a large capital project, so I want to identify it separately, and is being funded from grants. The total tax requisition for Area H is $1.7 million, $81,000 increase from last year, or a 4.92% increase. However, once non-market growth is taken into account, it's 3.7% net tax increase. This is a description of how the increases and why the increases occurred, and it just shows it itemizes by project and the net effect versus 2021 to 2022. And this is just a continuation. There was a number for H, and finally it actually itemizes a total, as you can see, of $82,729, and it says it's very specific, and if you have any questions, please let me know and we can discuss them. This is the tax requisition for Area H only. It shows the 2021 versus the 2022 and the increase or decrease for each of the services. And this is just a continuation of these services. This is the tax requisition summarized at the municipal level. This is the same thing, but summarized at the electoral area level. This shows the regional district tax for properties as valued below, and you can see there's from $500,000 to $1 million. This is only taxes that the regional district controls. This does not include school, does not include roads, does not include policing. And this is the taxation charges per capita. This is something fairly new that I introduced that shows the benefit that each person within each area does receive from the 156 services. Just to emphasize, not all 156 services are paid by everyone. There are some services that are specific to the areas. This is just a straight pie graph that shows where everyone is in the regional district budget circle. And this is information where you can review the budget. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. The board is looking forward to receiving your feedback on Draft Budget 2022.